All right, well, it's an honor to fly with you today, Michael. Really appreciate you fitting me in.
I'm excited. Let's go do it and see how the sighting device works.
That's elite airshow pilot Michael Goulian taking a break from his unlimited level flying to coach me.
On the upline, higher off the horizon.
Correct, yep.
For me, I love Sportsman Intermediate because you can start to make big changes on people, and this is really where the foundation begins.
Much better. So put that picture in your eye. That's what you want it to look like. Does that make sense? Could you see a change?
Yeah, totally. So I was kind of trying to memorize that, and then I screwed up my timing for the kick.
Since we've never worked before, kind of the thing that I'll do is just watch your flying, see your style, look at your maneuvers sort of as a whole, and what kind of sort of presentation do you make? And that's the biggest thing is, I don't want to critique, I'd rather coach.
And it was a good time.
I like it.
Thanks, man.
This airplane actually,
It goes.
Yeah, it goes. Nice. That was good, man. That was really good.
If you'd have told me 5 years ago I'd get to make an episode like this, I wouldn't have believed it. First of all, thanks for fitting me in.
Yeah, this is really fun, absolutely.
I'm excited about this airplane that you guys have, and for me as a guy who really loves to share aviation, I love aerobatics as well. I do not have a purpose-built airplane because I wanted the side-by-side experience.
Yep.
But there's a purpose-built airplane that is the side-by-side experience.
Yeah, and that's why I was so excited by it, right? So knowing the Cap 10 from back in the day and how much people liked it, and just being in the flight training world my whole life, right? You want to sit next to somebody, you can feel their energy. Are they nervous? Are they not? Right? And from aerobatics, it's even more important because you can comfort them. You're sitting right next to them. So for me, to have an airplane that has like great performance, can fly upside down, it can be a sport plane and side by side, it's pretty awesome.
That's the Integral R, and Mike Goulian Aviation is the North American distributor. Demo pilot Steven is flying the intermediate class in this thing. It's pretty cool that it has a left-hand throttle, and the other team member flying it is Ryan. I got to work with both of them at this camp. So we'll literally be competing against each other at the Nationals.
We will.
Same category.
That is the plan.
This is kind of the setup that inspired me to do it on the RV-14. When I saw this, I was like, oh, I can do that. Steven was the one that told me, you can make these things out of carbon fiber arrows, and that inspired me to try to look into doing it for my airplane. Pulled a favor with some friends. It took twice as long as I expected, but I'm here.
Well, looks like a success though. It looks pretty cool.
It got installed yesterday, so it's going to be the first real flight with it.
Yeah.
One of the cool things about aviation, you get to make stuff that never existed before.
Right. You guys do that all the time here. Huge thanks to the team at Patriot Aircraft for the help with this project. This was in Alabama, and then I launched the following day to get to Virginia for this training camp weekend. The previous episode covers the build for the combo camera mount and sighting gauge in detail, but this one is going to be a deep dive into what it's like to get coached by one of the best. So if we achieve getting verticals and 45s figured out, inverted and standard 45s, am I up and down verticals?
Yeah, I think we have plenty of time. And again, I think the first thing we'll do is we'll go out there and does the sight work.
And the sun has moved out of the way, so once you're warmed up and ready, if we're going to look at the vertical, you can do it right in front of the terminal building, and there should be no problem with the sun.
Roger.
And sometimes what looks vertical inside the airplane isn't vertical outside, right? And in competition, we're just trying to paint this perfect picture in the sky. So even if it doesn't look perfect to you, if it looks perfect to the judges, that's what matters.
We got a lot more done than just setting lines. It was very cool to see how Michael picked up on subtle things he could help me fix, which directly led to a personal best at the US Nationals, where I managed to place 10th of 24 competitors flying our free sequences, and I scored 78.85%.
Right, so start to figure out sort of what are your big tendencies, where can we make big adjustments, and sometimes it's just the look of a pull off of a line onto a line, right? Because we're trying to make this flight where, let's just say there's 20 of you in Sportsman, how do you outshine everybody else?
Then I ended the season flying the Nancy Lynn contest and managed to beat that personal best with an 81%. Again, thanks to Michael's coaching.
Okay, just do a hammerhead. Once you're ready, you can turn around, do a hammerhead whenever you're ready, and that way I can see the whole thing. So that looked positive up when you started, then it got clean at the end. The down line looks fine.
In a contest, there's always just one or two people that for whatever reason, somebody that's untrained is like, that's the best one. Right. And it's just a little bit of here and a little bit of there, and that's what I try to get out of everybody, because in Sportsman, there's a bunch of really good pilots. And technically, They're probably all about the same from a precision standpoint, but what is it that sets you apart? So it is a little bit of this. Is it a little in tighter? Is it a little bit lower? And that's what we want to find out, and take advantage of your plane.
Or disadvantage.
Or disadvantage.
In my case, I'm fighting with an airplane that is not purpose-built, so it's heavy on the controls. I don't have aileron space. I'm sitting left seat. I'm flying left hand.
Yep.
I don't have ratchet straps, so there's a bunch of things that I'm fighting with to do these things, but it can do it, and I can do it within reason. So we know what we're up against, and and I mean, in terms of my experience level, casual aerobatics since 2015, but seriously working on it since like 22.
Yeah.
Positive up, okay.
Too much toward the canopy.
Nope, the other way. Too much towards the wheels, right? So you didn't reach vertical.
Gotcha, okay. All right, hammer on the X.
Yeah, and I'll tell you when to pull just so you're out of the sun.
Roger.
Okay, whenever you're ready.
I've always had a challenge wrapping my head around that terminology. Like, I want to hear too much toward the wheels or too much toward the canopy, but that takes too long to say. So even during this flight, I didn't quite have it straight, but while debriefing and editing this, listening to the following explanation, I finally have it figured out.
Okay, I think actually quite good.
Right on.
Pretty standard language, right? So if you're negative towards the canopy going up, and then negative towards the wheels going down, right? Or positive going up means towards the wheels, or positive coming down a little bit closer to the canopy, that way.
So that's what I'll hear from you is you'll say positive.
I'll say, negative up, negative down, positive up, positive down.
So
right?
positive up means too much towards
This way, right?
Gear.
Yep.
Okay. Negative down means too much towards the gear. So
Correct.
Opposite.
Yep. If you think of, so positive always kind of like short of the vertical, right? So I didn't quite get there, or I'm short of the vertical here, where if negative, I've kind of like gone too far, or I've gone underneath, right? I always think of, to me, negative feels under, and positive means on top of, to me. That's how I think of it.
Okay. I think I'll be able to get my head around that. But on the day, I still did not have my head around it.
All right, you want one coming at you so we can check the wings level?
Yep, let's do that now.
So two things. We want to make sure that the airplane is vertical this way and vertical this way. So that's the other thing, is we're going to make sure, so we're going to do essentially some hammerheads, make sure that the airplane appears vertical on, as you know, the x-axis, but then you'll come at me or away from me so we can look at the plan form of the airplane, because we want to make sure that we don't have a wing low, right? Especially as you get better and better and you go into intermediate and other things, you want to make sure that the wings are square as well, because if we have the airplanes off as we start to roll, what ends up happening, it gets worse, right?
So my triangle is kind of as high as I'm going to be able to get it, and it's still like that much off the horizon. Like,
right.
I can't put the line on the horizon, but that's.
And that's perfect. So we need to figure out how much above or below the horizon that is.
So again, you're starting just a little bit positive or towards the wheels, and then it gets clean as you go up. So just concentrate on making sure the line is good from the very beginning of the establish of the vertical.
Roger.
Okay, yeah. And just keep going right, just point it right at the terminal building.
Think rate, pull up.
So I have to be honest, I definitely felt a fair amount of pressure flying aerobatics in front of Michael Goulian. I've been following his career for a long time. He's definitely a hero of mine, and I know sometimes you hear the saying, never meet your heroes, but honestly, after getting over the nerves, this was a really great experience.
Okay, it looked like the left wing was dragging just a little bit going up. Wouldn't you agree with that?
Dragging.
And that will translate to obviously dragging the right wing on the way down. So make that adjustment. We'll try that again. So I think you'd want the sighting device to be higher off of the horizon by a little bit.
On the upline, higher off the horizon.
Correct, yep.
And as much as this camera here gets a good shot of the sighting gauge, it is forward of my eye line, so it's not seeing it exactly as I'm seeing it.
Much better. So put that picture in your eye. That's what you want it to look like.
That screwed up the kick.
That's all right. And better down as well. Yeah, good. Does that make sense? Could you see a change?
Yeah, totally. So I was kind of trying to memorize that, and then I screwed up my timing for the kick, but that's cool. So it's putting the horizon almost on the
Top of my aileron, that's what I need to remember.
Cool. We'll look at that as well when we get down. You can show me where it is.
Yeah, just as a note, it's the hinge of the aileron is where the horizon needs to be, so that puts it about a foot below the bottom of the triangle.
Okay, sounds good.
Okay, what next?
I think if you're ready, we can try the sportsman sequence.
Alright, cool.
You get unlimited people, and you're just working on over rotations and under rotations and pitches on snaps and things like that, which we don't have to do. For us, it's like, how do we get the basics down so that it's just solid? And because really, what are we doing? Loops, lines, and rolls. Right. Those are the things.
And here's a quick 30-second explanation of what we're doing in the box here. Warrenton has a box which is NOTAMed online when we're flying in it. It's exactly 1,000 meters by 1,000 meters, and each class has their own floor that's very strictly enforced. And thanks to the Canadian National Aerobatic Championships team for having this graphic commissioned. The idea is to fly your figures so they look best from the judge's vantage point. So it's a lot of cheating and understanding how not to go out the edges. And while you want to try to get as close to the floor as you can, busting it is a really big deal. You lose a lot of points or even get disqualified, but that's the art to make it look as good as you can.
To put them down low, in front, make it impressive, everything that you do. And we'll talk about sort of as we go, psychology, how you prepare for the flight, what are you thinking about, what about the wind? Does your flight change depending upon how much wind there is, or are you kind of staying the same, all of these things. And I always have a journal, I write down everything. So when I was competing, every single flight that I did, I wrote down, and then I made my Bible of things the way that it felt to me, right? Because we always say sometimes feel isn't real. I play a lot of golf, kind of the same thing. What you feel with the club might not be what's happening, but that's what it feels to you. And that's the thing that we'll think about today too is, you know, how does it feel inside the plane? What do you see? It may be different than what I see because I'm trying to create you and your personality in the plane. And you don't have to do the whole thing. We can do the first half or the second half, whatever you like.
45 up?
Yeah, so it'll be fun. I'd love to see, you know, there's a one-turn spin.
Off. One-turn spin. Good, I like it. Illman. Let's see how this works. 180 turn.
I gotta travel for a bit for this one, eh?
Yep, no worries.
Trying to keep that cadence, but it's hard with that sequence. That's why I was staying on the ground.
Yeah, I see it.
I always have a hard time getting this 45.
Let's push 45 down to a goldfish.
The lack of ratchet straps is clearly a big limitation, but I decided I did not want to be flying around with that extra hardware for cross country. And not having an inverted fuel system really negates serious pushing anyway. But that's where the Integral R really shines, as it has full inverted systems, the left-hand throttle, and ratchet straps. So it's not limited to the sportsman class like the RV14 is.
Okay, great. Let's stop there for a second. We'll chat.
Roger.
I realize that there's no wind corrector in this sequence, so that's a little bit hard, except for the 180 can be your wind corrector. So to me, I'd rather see you start, you know, just this side of center. And keep it in closer. Also, number one maneuver, the 45 up, it should be steeper, and if you can, the push off the top a little bit more aggressive. Just again, trying to fly it like it's drawn.
Roger.
The spin I liked, the Immelman I also liked, and then the 180 turn, we want to control our speeds because your line down on 5 is very short, right? So we want to be able to draw a longer line on that. I was happy with the 45 down from inverted to upright in the roll. That was all good. The line on 5 was incredibly short. So we need to be able to find a way to get the airplane slow, either through power or G or both, so that you can push down, draw a line, take your time, go into a big gentle loop.
Yeah, that's a hard one.
So here I am diving in again to start it from the top.
Excellent.
We're going to do the first half and see if there's some improvement.
Now push. Good. That look a little steep to you, Brian?
It did.
Yeah.
Caution, sink rate.
And go. I like it.
So I'll bring it toward you.
Yes, sir. So think about your speed now. How do we get rid of this speed? So you can pull a lot of G, or you can bring the throttle back, or both. Good.
106.
Excellent. Good. Better. Now, that's it. Go. Gentle. Doesn't have to be a hard loop. That's it. Make a big... Really nice. I like it. Now back on the G just a little bit to close this loop. There's this thing we call the shark's tooth, right, where you're pulling vertical, how much energy do you have across the top, and then how do you deal with that 204, especially because you don't have inverted systems, really, the air won't run.
So I almost get it like a Humpty where I'm almost out of energy. I buffet it to the 45.
Yep.
And that gives me a fair amount of time. Like I can hold this part without accelerating crazily.
Yep.
So that's what I'm doing, but you can tell me if you think it looks like I'm, because sometimes I'm right at the edge where it's almost not going to work, where I'm just almost Humpty.
And the thing for me is, once you get to the 45,
Park it.
yeah, we don't want the airplane to settle, right? So if you're coming across the top and it's sinking, that looks bad. So we want exactly enough energy where it comes off the top, it draws this beautiful circle, yet it looks sort of very angular, right? We want it to look really pretty. And then, like you say, you have to stick it and then start the roll.
And that's a common problem I'm having is my nose drops, so I'm almost always steep after.
Okay.
So I'm trying to fight with that. It takes a lot of top rudder, I guess, when I'm sideways.
Okay.
And I probably need to push a little bit before I start.
And then remember, so this maneuver changes with the wind as well, right? So if there's a big, because this is downwind, we're going to drive into the wind, so you want to come off the top a little earlier because we're driving into a headwind. Where if there's no wind, because if we want to make the same shape of radius, ground speed is everything.
Yeah.
It's funny, it's one maneuver, but it changes on the day because of the wind.
That's the hard part about all this.
Yeah.
Getting situationally aware with the box plus the wind.
Exactly, because the wind is everything. In aerobatics, especially because we're trying to draw shapes, beautiful shapes, well, the thing that affects it is the wind. And it's different from morning to night, day to day, all of those things. So that's where we have to build our bank of, what does a 20-knot tailwind look like? What does a 15-knot headwind look like? And how do I change how I fly? Okay, let's stop there for a second. Really well flown. I like it a lot. So we went a little overboard on my number one. It was a little too steep. And then we just want to work on 5 and 6, the length of line after. So if there's a way that you can just either bring the power back or whatever, I'm not sure what your speed is, but just give it another half of a heartbeat or more after the rolls are done.
Roger, yeah, I was getting to 175, which is when I got to start thinking about getting out of it.
Yep, so maybe there's a way we can bring the power back a little bit or something just to make that line a little bit longer. I like your Immelman a lot, whatever you're doing. I think it's really great. We're improving on 5 and 6, like your speed off the top of 6 and your line and all of that was good. You tend to get a little steep all the time after your rolls on your 45s down.
Yeah, that's an ongoing problem.
Okay.
So really, I should be coming off the power either right before the second part of that roll or right after.
Yeah, I would just try. You can, maybe you just bring it back 50% of the way prior to your roll, and because the airplane's accelerating all on its own because it's coming downhill, right? And because it's not an aerobatic airplane, it's clean, so it's gaining speed fast.
Yeah. Yeah, this is where two-handing it is a disadvantage because I got to get my hand back to the throttle quickly.
Yeah, I got it. I think you should be pleased with your flying from where you are, right? Like, this is really good, and you've got so much great stuff to work with. I like your spin, like, every time. It's been, 2 out of 2, really dead on.
Awesome, thanks, man.
I do want to give a shout out to other coaches I've worked with this season, specifically Ryan Chapman. But for now, let's get back to focusing on the Shark's Tooth.
Am I too far back in the box?
Nope, you're perfect. You can come on down, and then I'll tell you when to go. We're going to go all the way to the other side. Whenever you're ready. Yeah, power back a little.
Caution, sink rate.
Much better.
Rate. Pull up.
Yep, power back before I start the roll.
Yeah, I like that. And again, we can even do a little bit more, but I don't know what your speed is in your G load at the bottom. If we wanted to make it perfect, another half a second and a little bit more G at the bottom, but I don't know how hard you're pulling.
Okay, I just reset the meter. It was at 5.5 and -1.5. So we'll see what we get now.
Okay, let's do that one more time. I really like the way that looks.
The airplane?
Yeah, that's a change in technique, so that'll really help. I think that'll do it.
Hey, there's no charge for this either. Only dinner, maybe.
I think he might be able to, maybe he should push a little bit before he rolls. I'm seeing it come down a little bit there.
Are you?
Yeah, but I don't know if you're seeing that too.
And maybe just as you start to roll, Steve, just a little forward stick before the first 2 of 4, so the nose doesn't drop. Remember, sometimes it's just a feel, right?
Yep. Push before the roll.
Go when ready. I like it. Good, a little push when you roll. Nice, nice. Hold it, go. Much better, great. Why don't you come on in, take your time, cool the engine off, and really well done.
Awesome, thanks, man. Yeah, so I got to 5.5 to -1.5. I think the G-meter just disappeared, but I didn't set it to auto display, but I think that's what I saw. I'll talk about it on the ground.
Yeah, that sounds good. I'll meet you at the airplane. And I think there might be one, yeah, there's one on the downwind, and that's it.
Roger.
So I hope you enjoyed that one. I cut it as tight as I could, but there was just so much good stuff. I didn't want to make it any tighter. And with that in mind, here's 6.5 minutes of really solid debriefing. And until the next one, keep your flight chops sharp.
So tell me about where on the horizon.
The hinge of the aileron.
Way back here.
Yeah, is that too far?
Okay. Cool.
I could move it back.
It's totally fine. This now becomes your reference.
Yeah.
45 is not always 45. Most airplanes are better steep. If you're going to go into a big headwind, 45 might be perfect. If you're going to go downwind, it might have to be steeper. Right? So this becomes your reference line, not your I have to go to line. Okay? So then what you have to figure out is how much is enough, right? So if this is on the horizon, but I want to be a little steep, is that enough, right? Is it just above the horizon? Just a little? Is it a little below the horizon? It's probably never going to be below the horizon, but it might be above the horizon, just a little. And is it, it might be fairly imperceptible here, but it's a big change. And the plane is long, right? So a small deviation makes a big difference. So you can just start to play with that. So the first one was what everybody would call shallow.
Yeah.
And then the other one everybody would call a little steep.
Too much, yeah.
So it's a little bit, it's right in between,
find the balance,
right?
Yeah.
And so your job, and again, I know there's a G limit on the plane and all that, so you have to be careful. But again, what you really want is the airplane to go click, align, and the spin's next, so whatever speed, and then off the line, right? So it's really nice without pinning yourself off the seat. But what you don't want to do is here to mushy.
Yeah.
Right. So you want to make a nice.
So on
pretty...
the second one, I tried to pop it off
You did.
harder.
Yep.
Yeah.
The spin, I'm not going to tell you anything. I think what you're doing in the spin is really good.
Okay. Cool.
Just keep doing that.
Okay.
And then next maneuver is Immelman.
Yes.
You're pulling a pretty tight loop. I can see that you're rolling before you're inverted. It's totally fine because the airplane doesn't look funny. It doesn't do that, right? So it's blending and rolling. I don't think I would change it at all. It's really
Okay.
good.
Sweet. Cool.
Yep. And then 5 is going to be your nemesis, right? So you can either, right? You can get it to 80 degrees of bank and pull. And
So-
try to accelerate, stall, or...
So the last one was the best one, right?
Yeah.
So I got hard in that turn. I got down to about 109, I think, is what I
Okay.
saw. So when I pushed, I think I saw 108 or something like that. So if I'm that slow,
Can it get slower than
it
that? or
can.
no?
It's just that it's hard to make a turn that banked that slow because I'll accelerate, stall it.
Well, that's what you don't want, right? But what we're trying to do is get it just to the point where it's going to nibble at you a little bit,
So
right?
okay, so I'll make it nibble. Yeah, so I think I can get it down under 100 then if I just really pull the end of the turn and the power's off and push to get there, and then I have time to accelerate into that, park it on that line and be sure I've got it there.
Yeah, and
before I
again,
go.
I think I don't know how much when I say power off, I just think in
Back a little.
so full 3/4, half, quarter, close, right? I don't really know, and whatever it's like. Oh, that feels about half.
Yeah.
Okay, great. So
Aim for
come
half.
come out of the Immelman, make sure the airplane is accelerated to its stable. Go. Let's just say it's half. I go to half. I bank. I pull, right, and then roll out, and then whatever you do with the throttle after that. So the first one went here.
Yeah, I know, because I was
right?
so fast already.
So fast.
Yeah.
So you want as much time as you can here, because the airplane has really good performance. So you can push again without nailing your head on the canopy, right? So try to make it as crisp as you can, and then as long as you can. And then there's no need to yank it, right? So you have all this speed and you make this just big, huge, beautiful loop.
Yeah.
Let the airplane float. And then remember here, you need to close the loop a little bit. If you're just floating, it's going to keep floating and kind of get ugly. So you want to let it, you want to start your float here, then get back on the G. And when I say back on the G, it's like
right,
just
okay.
a little,
okay,
right?
Yeah.
Just and then stop, and then you roll. And then the shark's tooth with the 204 is getting
Yeah,
really good.
that change is something I haven't done before. So power off before I start the roll.
Yep.
Then I can take more time to fix the downline without freaking out about how fast I'm getting.
Yeah, and is it like half power?
I think I go into half, yeah.
Perfect. So, and again, I think, Ryan was saying, maybe the airplane, just as you start to roll, maybe the nose is coming down a little bit. So that's why I said,
push.
Hey, again, it's a...
Yeah.
It's
just a
nudge,
little pressure.
Right? It's just a pressure.
Yeah.
But like I love to say to my students, it's a pressure, not a movement.
Right.
Right? It's just a pressure, not a movement.
Okay.
So it's here, and then try to hold this line with rudder.
Yeah.
And then here. And then again, if we can count 1,000 or so after, and again, as much as the speed and G will allow you to make a nice, beautiful... actually quite impressed with how well the plane shows.
Yeah.
It's probably hard for you, you're doing all that work in there.
Yeah. It's fun though. I mean, this is cool that this is not a purpose-built airplane, but it's definitely, we're getting there. So we got to 5.5 and -1.5. Yeah.
Is that good?
That's as much as I want to do.
Yeah. I would you don't want to float with,
I can't really get more than -1.5 and I don't want to push 6. Yeah.
You start to clean this up and it's competitive. I can see why you did well in the known.
Cool.
Yeah.
Okay.
This wing isn't even close to symmetrical. No, that's impressive.
No, it's not.
Yeah.
Close.
No.
And it has flaps.
Steve, you're flying it great, man. Really are. And I think the flat belly looks good. In the first couple of pulls, you were here, and then it got to here, and then that went away.